Sweet. It looks like everything is good. What's going on, guys? Welcome to another edition of the narikchase channel. I'm your boy Narik Chase. I'm enjoying the new setup with the podcast being on one channel and everything else being on other channels. So it's good. Everybody who likes the podcast can sit here and go. But anyways, we on episode 96 of the Streamline podcast, and in this one we're going to be talking about Doctor Strange in the Multiverse of Madness. Now, this is going to be, I guess, a review slash spoiler review as well as a discussion. I'm not going to really get too much into Doctor Strange, although I would love to come back later on in the episode of Breaking the Base and talk about Doctor Strange and Doctor Strange in the Multiverse of Madness. But before we get this thing going on, be sure to hit that like, share, subscribe, and the notification button to get the best of what we got going on the channel. Oh yeah, and I almost forgot. Ain't did that in a while, so let's go ahead and get into it. Now, I wouldn't seen Doctor Strange in the Multiverse of Madness a few days ago, last week, I believe. And in the film, you have Doctor Strange who has to protect America Chavez from Wanda Maximoff as they're traveling the multiverse, exploring the multiverse. There's a bit more to the story in terms of character development and motivation, but that's generally what the film is all about, which I actually do like. That when the trailers came out, from the trailers that I saw, I didn't see Wanda as the villain. I saw possibly a dark version of Doctor Strange who does make an appearance in the film. But I will say that I really appreciate kind of the way the marketing did. Now, if there was a trailer that actually showed it and kind of revealed it, fine. But as far as I'm concerned, I didn't really see one that showed that she was a villain. So that's what's up. Now, I'm going to go ahead and just give the initial review. Of course, no spoilers. Now, the honestly, the performances are pretty good. Everybody does their thing. I really do like Benedict Cumberbatch as Doctor Strange. I think the man does a good job of nailing the sophistication of the character and the depth of the character. And Cumberbatch is actually just a great actor all around. I did like Gomez, who played America Chavez. What's her name? Z Z Zichel. I don't Ziochel Coachella Gomez. I don't know his girl name. Sorry, but I actually liked her performance. I actually enjoyed her performance. I actually liked her character too. She didn't seem like one of the many force characters that they're doing now with the Phase Four. She actually seemed like a very capable character, an interesting character, a character that actually seems to have had a developing arc within the film too. But in the film, I actually rooted for the character, and I actually wanted the character to be safe and be okay. She's one of the new characters that I've actually come to really enjoy from on the screen. But so I actually did like her character. I've always loved Olsen as the Scarlet Witch character. I think she's awesome. Elizabeth Olsen is just on point as an actress. She's definitely shown us to be quite capable. I really enjoyed her. I even enjoyed just the interesting side to her character that this film does explore. I didn't see WandaVision, but I do understand much of what leads up to what happens to this film was in WandaVision. I am aware of some of the things in it, so it wouldn't really surprise me. But I enjoyed seeing that, and I love the motivation behind the character. So she's actually probably one of the deeper characters within the MCU, especially the villains. But I really enjoyed seeing that. There are let's just say visually, this movie is just on point. The first Doctor Strange was awesome looking, just the way the visuals was, and just the way that the visuals are set up in this film as well, just freaking out of this world. Them going through the various dimensions, the fights, just the costume design, just visually, this movie is just on point. There's a lot of really meaningful cinematography too, the way certain scenes are shot, the tone that's being portrayed. Actually, I know a lot of people didn't really like. Some people didn't like that. I actually thought it was okay, and it made for a very diverse film. And I actually could have seen it go in those different directions had they stuck with those. But visually, this is a good looking film. I didn't say, but the supporting characters, the supporting actors and actresses did a really good job as well. Performances in this movie just really good all the way around. The visuals were really, really good all around. There were some pretty cool action sequences in the film that I thought was just well done. And ultimately, that's probably it when it comes to this film. The writing is what I think which holds it back some. There are a lot of situations that happen in this film that really, really just hold it back. One of the problems I have with the film, of course, is Doctor Strange, and having seen what he's capable of in the first film, what you see he's capable of in Infinity War, what you see him being capable of in Endgame and these other films, it just feels like he's never really fully Doctor Strange in the film, specifically in the fights. Because honestly, when you think of magical battles, the biggest one I can actually put out is the Dumbledore versus Voldemort fight in, I believe, the Order of the Phoenix film of Harry Potter. That's like the ultimate spellcaster versus spellcaster battle in film that I can think of. I didn't get that in this film. I've gotten better ones in Doctor Strange. I got better ones in Infinity War with Doctor Strange fighting. I mean, look at the fight between Strange and Thanos. That was one of the most memorable moments that Doctor Strange has ever had. But I feel like this film does this thing where it never really shows you what he's fully capable of. Or if they do, it's very minuscule. And it's like when you watch Dragon Ball Z and you see after season 1 with the Saiyans how big battles can be and the explosions and stuff. And then you get to Namek and these characters keep getting more powerful, and you're like, well, this person can blow up a planet. And then like after that, you're like, okay, so what can the characters do that's worse than Bert blowing up a planet? So I do feel like Doctor Strange really didn't have a moment in this film. I felt like a lot of the characters didn't really have moments. I was actually surprised at how long they had Benedict Wong in the film and how important he was to the film too. He was actually a really good character. But also kind of where the villain, like the story surrounding the villain, I think could have worked a bit better had it went another way, because they do introduce another villain in this film, and you're like, okay, is that villain the mastermind behind what's going on? And you find out it's not, and it's like a totally different thing. And I was like, it actually would have made more sense had it actually been that person would have actually been the manipulator behind all of the events of what's going on. But ultimately, Doctor Strange and the Multiverse of Madness visually is a good looking film. It's definitely appealing to the eyes. There's really good performances in the film. But again, I've also seen that kind of that Disney trope thing that they've been doing with Marvel, this formula that typically have, actually kind of hits home in this too. I really wish they didn't. Disney would stop doing that. But ultimately, it was entertaining. It wasn't as good as it could have been. I'd say Doctor Strange and the Multiverse of Madness gets a 3 out of 5. There's definitely a lot of room that this could have went to some really cool direction, but unfortunately, it doesn't. But I can't say I didn't have some level of enjoyment, because I did. Now let's get on to the spoilers. Spoiler alert! Spoiler alert! Spoiler alert! I need to put a spoiler video clip on here just for spoilers. But anyways, let's go ahead and get into that. Now, the film is what I was saying. Wanda Maximoff, the Scarlet Witch, is turned into a villain, and she's been pursuing America Chavez, this teenager that's capable of traveling through the multiverse, so that she can go into another universe where the kids that she lost in WandaVision, who were never really alive, but figments of her reality building, bending abilities, she's trying to go into a universe that has them in it, so she can actually live the life with them in it. Which is weird, because in the MCU universe, they don't exist at all, and they never existed. But in all these other multiverse, they had every single one of them, which is kind of cool. But it's kind of like okay, every single. I'm like, okay. So of course, Doctor Strange ends up finding this girl, and I do like the scene where Doctor Strange is like, okay, it's a magic user that's pursuing you. Let me go find somebody that knows magic. Talks to Wanda. You end up finding out that Wanda kind of makes a slip of the tongue and Strange finds out it's her. I do like that reveal. I like how it was done, where she just all of a sudden has a new outfit on, this illusion of this orchard or something. She changes it to this like really messed up place, and like that scene I thought was actually done really, really well. Even her being a villain, I could say she was kind of reasonable. I mean, yes, she was a dick and she was doing a lot of bad stuff in the film, but one of the things that I really like is the conversations between her and Strange did, because she's like, okay, look, I know what I'm doing is bad. I know what I'm doing is wrong, but it's reasonable because I'm not taking it up to the next level, that I can do it, that I'm able to do it. And she even tries, and I like how Strange is trying to reason with her, and she's trying to reason with him because she's like, you know, I can do worse, but just give me the kid and I won't do it. I just want this. So I love seeing to that character, because in actuality, I really hadn't seen any of the other villains do something like that. Thanos probably the closest, but I actually like seeing that with her character, and it's showing just this different side to her character. Really, really enjoyed it. Uh, and of course, you know, she ends up attacking the Shaolin Temple. And I'm on the fence about this scene because on one hand, it's actually pretty cool seeing her, like, because she decimates this place. It shows her how, and I love how this scene shows how diverse her abilities are, like the entire scene, because she's getting into people. She uses her abilities to get into somebody's head. She uses her abilities to get out of this time locked out zone thing, and just the way she does it is very interesting, seeing how diverse her capabilities are. And I love that the MCU has evolved her powers throughout the course of the movies. But one of the things, but I'm like, I'm like, okay, it was cool scene, but it felt like she wasn't as bad. I guess because when they're trying to shield this place, she's not able to get through the shield. And I was like, well, I was hoping that she'd be overpowering it, but she really didn't do that. She had to get into that one guy's head to help bring it down. So I guess that's okay. I was hoping that maybe she'd like do like this and then send down like a clap of red thunder that could just keep hammering the shield or something like that. And honestly, I didn't like seeing how weak. I felt like everybody, as strong as she is as a character, I feel like everybody that they did present her with in a fight were just straight up weak. I like seeing her fuck shit up, but at the same time, I didn't see them. Honestly, it just felt like everybody was just weak. It didn't feel like you seeing skilled magic users fighting this woman and then losing. It was like a bunch of kids, like a bunch of untrained people that didn't know how. I don't know. I wanted to see a full on fight. I mean, like I said, it was good seeing her tear stuff up, but I didn't feel like we got a real. In fact, almost every scene that she's in, that she's fighting someone, it doesn't seem like they're capable of fighting her character. And that I didn't kind of like that. Now there is a scene later on we do see where it's like, okay, they're strong and they're fighting her, but she manages to overpower them. But in this, she's fighting all of these characters that you can use magic, and I feel like, yeah, there should have been more better fights. I mean, they're like the apex magic users in the world. Even if she is the most powerful as she is, I wanted to see better fights between them. But so she ends up destroying, and this is another thing that I thought was kind of weird. They end up talking about Kung Lung. Kung Lung is the place the Iron Fist came from, but I was under the impression, based off that series, that Kung Lung got destroyed. And even that, so I was like, so if Kung Lung gets brought into it, how come Iron Fist and the Asian chick, how come they weren't brought into it? Because it would make sense for them to got brought into it too, if Kung Lung got brought in. And then another thing that also had me wondering, if this is a magic too, how come the dude from how come Shang-Chi didn't show up there? Because Wong talked to Shang-Chi, the end of the Shang-Chi film, so he has access to him. So why wasn't he brought in on this? So those are like two missed opportunities. The fact that Shang-Chi wasn't brought into this fight was one thing that was dumb, and Iron Fist wasn't brought into the look. Danny Rand, the first season of Iron Fist, I didn't like. Second season, I thought was a hell of a lot better, and I wanted to see another season with his character. And this could have been a great idea because I've already sat there and said that Daredevil is actually MCU canon. So why aren't the other ones brought into it too? This could have been a perfect way of bringing those characters in. Hell, had Doctor Strange in the multiverse while they, along with Benedict Wong's character, try to fight her off. That actually would have made sense. But so Doctor Strange and America, they end up getting cast into the multiverse because she can't control it. Wong is stuck with Wanda. And then we get it. One thing I liked about the multiverse, but I didn't like about the multiverse, and it wasn't like they were multiverse hopping through the film. They literally you see this one really good scene where they're going through these series of universes. And in these universes, they kind of change depending on what's going on in the universe. But visually, it was shot really, really good. They're now going to this one universe where you see the Illuminati, where their Doctor Strange got killed fighting Thanos. You see, what was the black guy from the first Doctor Strange? Mordo. Mordo is actually kind of a good guy. Is actually a good guy in this universe. You got the Illuminati, Mr. Fantastic, Black Bolt, the what if version of Captain America. Peggy Carter. You got the Black Captain Marvel. And you got Charles Xavier, played by Patrick Stewart, X-Men, which I will say I thought was really cool seeing him in the film. Him in the big bulky yellow floating wheelchair. Him when he's using his abilities, he's doing like this, and you can see the whoop, whoop, whoop wave thing. I thought that was actually pretty good. Dressed and like I really like that. I really did like it. I didn't think it was necessary for the freaking movie, but I like that. I actually thought it was pretty cool. Paying homage to the characters from the 90s. So Doctor Strange is up finding out that him being who he is basically a threat to the multiverse because of his decisions. There's these two books. One's good, one evil. One version of him used the evil one to destroy your entire universe, and now basically Doctor Strange is. Nobody likes Doctor Strange basically across any universe because he's seen as kind of like this bad thing for the universe or whatever, multiverse or whatever. Okay, fine. But before he can kill him, Wanda has this thing where she can astrally project herself into the multiverse to other versions of herself. So she does that, and she goes and attacks the Illuminati. There's some good things about this scene, and there's some bad things about this scene. One of the good things was seeing just how badass Wanda was. She goes in there and she's like just destroying shit. I didn't like that. Honestly, it felt very safe. It felt very kid friendly because one of the things I noticed was they had these Ultron robots there that was like guards and stuff, and I was like, yeah, they would put guard robots there so you won't get blood or guts and stuff like that. One of the things that I loved about the Fantastic Four 2015 was one of the scenes was Doctor Doom walking through there just killing people, and it looked like a horror movie. And I had heard she did something similar in before I watched the film, and she kind of does in this film. But I would have liked to see her like kill people. It's like when you watch Samurai Jack, and you realize all the people that he's cutting in half are robots, despite what they look like. They're like, all these are freaking robots, not one person. I'm like, okay, wow. So there's that, but it was actually a pretty cool scene, and it leads to this really cool scene, but messed up scene at the same time. Because in the movie, Black Bolt and Mission Fantastic get killed right off the bat. Now, John Krasinski, the dude that played in The Office. When I heard that people was trying to petition him to be Mr. Fantastic, I'm like, he's a really good actor. I would like to actually see that, and he's Mr. Fantastic, and the little bit that he did have, he was actually pretty good as a character. I was actually interested in seeing the character. I actually seen things them trying to petition for his wife to be Sue Storm, and that would have been really, really cool to see. But yeah, he's in the film. He does a good job. Gets killed off in the most messed up way possible. and cleanest way possible is basically like she pulled him apart at the seams and his head popped too. So that was weird. Black Bolt got killed because she took away his mouth and he tried to scream and blew his own fucking brains out. And I thought that was bullshit, but okay. And then you get a fight between Peggy Carter, Captain Marvel against Wanda. It's actually a decent fight. I actually liked it. I thought it was pretty cool. The climax of it was both of them got Captain Marvel and Peggy Carter got fucking killed. Uh, but it was kind of cool, the fight itself. I think it was a little bit weird because of all the characters that she could have fought, why those two? Why not all three of them? Why not all? It'd been a good fight between all four of them. But again, it's kind of like, well, okay, did they just kill the dudes out because it's the dudes and they just wanted to show how badass the woman was? Because in all honesty, I did think about this when I was watching the film. All the women seem to have had the best moments in the film. There's a reoccurring arc where in a story where Strange hasn't gotten over his ex. I'm trying to. What was her name? What is her name? Uh, Dang, what's her name? I can't remember her name. Palmer. Yeah, Palmer. Christine Palmer. That's his ex. He hasn't gotten over her. But by the end of the film, he comes to terms with it and everything. But she had better moments than damn near anybody. She's a regular person. She had better moments than Strange did pretty much in the entire damn movie. But Chavez had some pretty good moments in the film. She actually had good dialogue and meaningful conversations as well. Wanda definitely takes the cake in the entire movie. The Peggy Carter and Captain Marvel put up a much better fight than all the dudes did. And I'm also interested in this part too, because when she attacks that place, Mordo is a part of the Illuminati. And Mordo didn't help them in the fight. And I'm honestly trying to figure out why the fuck that was a writing choice. I would have thought that would have made sense for a magic user to get into that fight. Why would they leave him? They could have. Charles Xavier went to go help. Why did Mordo not? I thought that was a very weird writing decision. Now I get that I guess use it for them to kind of show some kind of score being settled between Mordo and Strange. But at the same time, I'm like, no, Mordo should have been at that fight, and him being there probably could have helped. Not only made it a better fight, but actually helped Black Bolt and Mr. Fantastic. In fact, him being there probably would have saved all four of them. Because if they can't beat her, him being a magic user could have helped stopped them getting killed the way they did. So I'm on the fence about that. Now there is a really cool moment that we get to see where Wanda does manage to catch up to Chavez, but before she can get her, Xavier pops up and has a mental battle with her. And in the mental battle, he's trying to save the Wanda that's like, there's two Wandas at this inhabiting the same body. There's the evil one that's trying to get to the girl, and then there's the Wanda that was already there that's kind of stuck. So she's under this rubble. Charles is trying to get her, and then you get the best fucking shot in this movie. And I'm sorry, like I love Patrick Stewart as Xavier, but I was like, fuck it, he out of the game. While he's there, he can sense, like you see this big red cloud forming behind him, and he can sense her coming up on him, and he's so freaking afraid. You can see it in his face, afraid of that power that's coming. And then next you know, she just jump scares out of it, grabs him by the neck, and just bow, breaks his shit, and then kills him in real life. The same way, just snatches him. And I was like, damn, that was awesome. But that shows you just how badass of a character she is, because she had this motherfucker just scared. Now I would have liked to see more of a mental battle when I looked at the X-Men: The Last Stand. I don't know if it was actually a deleted scene or because I read the book, too. But in the scene where is going Dark Phoenix, and everybody's watching her go Dark Phoenix. This is the house scene when she is when Charles is there. They're battling wheels. Now in the theatrical cut, you see them battling, but you don't like really see it. But in the book and in the deleted scene or whatever, you get a better sense of them actually fighting it out mentally. And I wish I could have seen that here, but it was actually a pretty badass scene. It was a pretty badass scene. So, anyways, and then it goes to this really, really cool scene where it's like a horror movie, and she's chasing them, and it's cool because she's got like this Evil Dead look to her. Now, Sam Raimi, the dude that did Evil Dead, this definitely feels like Evil Dead because she's running after them, and in the darkness, her eyes are glowing red, and they're trying all of this stuff to stop her, closing doors on her and stuff, and it's not doing nothing. But like that, I really, and she's got the blood, like blood and oil and shit on half her face and everything. So that makes it look really, really, really cool. I really enjoyed that scene. That whole part where the Illuminati going to go fight her all the way to pretty much that horror after the horror scene is literally the best part of the movie because it just is so just fucking. It's just like crazy. But anyways, so they end up trying to get this book, the good book, because she's got the bad book, and they try to get the good book, and then she destroys the good book, and they end up getting sent to another dimension. She's kidnapped the girl, and now I was kind of thrown off about this because Wong ended up taking the Wanda in our dimension, the MCU dimension or whatever, to this holy place, this castle in the fucking middle of nowhere, where it's been foretold that she was destined to rule or destroy or something like that. And then she knocks him off and everything, and you think he's dead, but he's not. She ends up getting the Chavez girl there, and she starts absorbing the dimensional thing from her. And I was like, okay, she's got the girl there now. She starts sucking out the absorption, the dimension stuff out of her. Okay, fine. But then it cuts to Strange, Christine. They end up going to the universe that got destroyed. I mean, it's still there, but everything's fucked up, and it looks really cool. I give them that. Again, visually, this is a really good movie, so it looks really cool. And Doctor Strange ends up meeting another version of himself, and I guess the evil version has been corrupted by the same dark book that corrupted Wanda. And this is where I kind of had a problem with the film, because Wanda's motivation is she for the love of her children. She's doing all this for the love of her children. I felt like this part right here should have been the Doctor Strange that was bad and corrupted by the book or whatever, should have been the main villain. He should have used that book to help corrupt Wanda and use the love of her children against her to get to America, so that way he can to get her power, so he can jump to different dimensions. I guess to either get more books, or destroy more dimensions. I don't freaking know. That would have made more sense, because in this, it would have been cool, and I think it would have been a really good redemption arc for Wanda's character too if they did it that way, kind of like the whole House of M. Because after the House of M, unlike this film, Wanda didn't get killed, and she had to make up for all of the bad stuff that she did. That's one of the best things about Scarlet Witch in the comics, because she's done a lot of bad shit, but she's trying to make up for that. So, because even if you think about WandaVision, Wanda didn't really face no repercussions for her actions, and she did some pretty bad shit in that show. Again, I hadn't seen it, but I ended up looking up some stuff on it, so I understand what's going on. But same thing here. We could have still kept Wanda, because Wanda ultimately is one of my favorite MCU characters, and this would have been a good developing arc for a character to accept that loss, as moving forward, accepting the loss of those kids, that she finally realized, okay, they never existed, and I lost some kids. So I have to, go on about my life or try to make up for what I've done. But the fact that they have this Doctor Strange, and really his motivation was he wanted Christine. And all Christines and all Doctor Stranges have to have this weird relationship in every dimension where they're together but they're not together, and there's like this weird thing going on. Which another thing I thought was kind of weird with the the MCU multiverse thing idea, which I don't like it, but it's kind of stupid now that I think about it. Okay, in No Way Home, when the other Peter Parkers showed up, there were 3 different Peter Parkers. Why in the hell is every Doctor Strange Benedict Cumberbatch? And every woman, every Christine is the same chick, but everybody else freaking changes. Now you can make an argument for, but you got Captain Marvel played by Brie Larson in the main MCU, and then you got Captain Marvel played by Lashana Lynch, and then you got Captain America played by Chris Evans, and you got Captain America played by the chick that played Peggy Carter. So, and even though, yeah, you got Mordo and that's like I said, that's one of my biggest problems with the whole MCU multiverse deal is I'm like, look, if you're going to be a multiverse, be different characters, be different people, not the same character in different same person, different universe. It's kind of stupid. And DC kind of does that too, but DC does it a bit different where, yeah, that might be the same character. I don't know. They both have their ups and downs with that, where they have new characters and original characters and alternate characters, but they also have the same characters too. So I'm on the fence about all of that as well. But so, anyways, Strange ends up fighting Strange, where the evil Strange wants Christine, and the good Strange wants the evil book. And there's a fight. It was kind of a cool fight where they were using musical notes, throwing musical notes at each other in with different tempos and stuff like that. Like that right there was clever. It felt like it went on too long, and I'm like, this is Doctor Strange. I'm looking for, again, the Thanos Strange fight or the Voldemort Dumbledore fight. Not really this whole. I mean, I guess it was a clever idea, but it just felt weird. It was very weird, especially considering he is Doctor Strange. But okay. So they end up beating him. And Strange. Okay. Wong is still there. And by this time, Wanda should have killed the girl and took her power. Because honestly, that seemed like 10, 15 minutes. Felt like 15 minutes in their time, maybe 10 minutes our time watching it. So I'm like, she's had more than long enough to take this girl power, because taking the girl's power is going to kill her. So I'm like, okay, why is the girl still alive? She should be dead now. Anyways, a whole bunch of stuff happens. Now, when she gets there, there was another Strange that almost killed her to take her power away from her, but he got killed and his body got dumped there. And so what happens is Strange does the same thing Wanda did with him being stuck in this other universe, and he projects himself into that dead body, and now you have a dead Doctor Strange. Interesting concept, kind of cool. Would have liked it to been the villain, not him. It was cool seeing it, but it was okay. And ultimately, by the end of the film, Chavez gains control of her powers, and she shows Wanda, gives Wanda what she wants. Hey, takes her to another universe where kids are. The kids are scared of her, and she instantly she's like, okay, I shouldn't be doing this, and she basically sacrifices herself to. She basically kills herself and destroys the evil book across all the multiverse and everything. And this movie, why did they kill her character off? She could have just went to another universe and just chilled. A place where she could have just been by herself and just they just killed her character off. And it was nice. And I like I like Scarlet Witch. She was one of my favorite characters. She's one of my favorite heroes. Now she's one of my favorite villains. And I don't know. I don't know. Like I said, I thought the movie was okay. It was entertaining. The writing wasn't the strongest. And yes, that evil Doctor Strange should have been the main fucking villain, and he should have been using Wanda's emotions against her and her grief against her, because that would have been a much better story. And because the evil Strange didn't really have much to do. He was literally there like 15 minutes, and then he was dead, and that was it. Like I said, I thought the film was okay. I was entertained. If I had a chance, I probably would watch it again. I wouldn't probably buy it, but I'd definitely watch it again. Or if I did buy it, nah, I'd probably go on YouTube and download the scenes with Wanda doing her crazy shit. But I thought it was okay. I wanted more from it. I feel like this movie is kind of how I felt about No Way Home. It's interesting, but there was a lot of writing decisions that I didn't like that didn't really make any sense. And like I said, Doctor Strange is supposed to be this supreme badass, and why in this film he doesn't get an awesome moment in the fights, I have no fucking idea. Again, if there was a good back and forth moment like he had with Thanos, I would have been all cool with it. But the fact that he didn't, and it just seems like he was weaker. And and like I said, a lot of the females in the movie seem like they had better moments than the male characters. If you look at, I mean, check it out. Again, when the fight between the Illuminati, Peggy Carter, Captain Marvel had a much more presence in the fight. If you look at when Wanda was hitting up the place, the woman that Wong knew ended up sacrificing herself to destroy the book, which is much more than what anybody else did. Even towards the end, who defeated Wanda? It was America Chavez. So like I said, I'm on the fence about it. I enjoyed the film though. I thought it was pretty cool. It was nice. It was nice seeing the second chapter of Doctor Strange's journey. And I will admit, I know a lot of people said this isn't a Strange movie, but I'm not really tripping on that. I felt like he did have a bit of an arc. Yeah, it was telling a bigger story than this character, but sometimes in films like this, especially with other characters, it's kind of like when you look at Captain America: Civil War. The entire movie isn't about him. Yes, he's the main focus of it, but it isn't about him. But it's telling the story around these other characters as well, especially Tony Stark. So you can't have, but there's a lot that Wanda has to go through and develop in this film too that need to be shown, and I really like that. So, but anyways, I thought it was an okay movie. 3 out of 5, solid watch. It was a solid film. Not one of the best, but definitely a solid film by Marvel. Could have been better. I wish it had been better, especially the damn fights. And of course, there's a sequel bait ending, so there's going to be a third film. But anyways, guys, in the comment section below, let me know what are your thoughts about Doctor Strange in the Multiverse of Madness. Did you like the film? Did you not like the film? Did you agree with my points? If there was something that I didn't cover, an idea, something that I didn't think about, go ahead and let me know in the comment section below. And I would definitely catch you guys later. Look forward to more uploads here on the podcast channel. And if you hadn't subscribed, quit being lazy and hit the damn subscribe button. All right, then. Catch you guys later.